Hello, friends, and welcome back to Senior Money USA. If you're already receiving Social Security or planning to file in the near future, what we're covering today could be very important for you. Many retirees don't realize they may be leaving hundreds of dollars a month on the table simply because of a small Social Security form most people never learn about. In fact, there is an official SSA form that, in some situations, can be completed in just a few minutes and may lead to a higher monthly benefit, sometimes reported as much as an $800 increase in certain cases. Yet a lot of people never submit it because they don't know it exists. Government paperwork can seem confusing or intimidating, but stay with me. We're going to walk through what this type of form is, the kinds of people it may apply to, and how it might help you get the benefits you've already earned over a lifetime of working. Our mission here at Senior Money USA is straightforward: to help older adults understand programs, updates, and lesser-known opportunities that may help protect and strengthen their retirement income. By the time we're done, you'll have a much clearer idea of whether a request like this might be relevant to you and what the next step could look like. And if you value clear, practical explanations on topics like this, please take a moment to tap the like button. It helps this information reach more retirees who deserve to know about it. Let's begin with why a situation like this can even happen. A lot of people assume that once they start getting Social Security, the government automatically calculates every dollar they're entitled to and keeps it perfectly updated forever. That sounds logical. You worked for many years, you paid Social Security taxes out of every paycheck, and when retirement starts, you expect the system to simply pay what you qualify for. But the reality is more complicated. Social Security is built on a very detailed set of rules, exceptions, and special situations, and your benefit amount rests on the specific information in your record at the time it's processed. Unless you tell the Social Security Administration that something has changed, or you file the proper form to ask for a review, the system generally just keeps paying based on what it already has on file. Picture this: you've put in decades of work, raised a family, paid taxes year after year, then finally claim your benefit. The check shows up every month and you assume, this must be what I'm supposed to get. But in some cases, that number isn't actually the highest amount you could legally be receiving. That's where these lesser-known processes come in. Within Social Security, there are specific forms you can use to correct or update information and, when appropriate, ask for a new look at how your benefit was calculated. Sometimes the resulting changes are small. In other situations, they can be noticeably larger than people expect. It's important, though, to be realistic. Not everyone will see an increase, and very few will see very large jumps. Each person's benefit depends on factors like lifetime earnings, when you claimed, your marital history, and other details. Still, the type of situation we're talking about today applies to more people than you might think. One of the biggest reasons retirees miss money they could qualify for is that their Social Security records may contain outdated, incomplete, or missing information. Earnings from earlier years might not have posted correctly, part-time work late in your career might not be fully reflected, a spouse's benefit situation may have changed, or you might have become eligible for spousal or survivor adjustments without realizing it. The Social Security Administration manages millions of records. Even with organized systems, they rely on individuals to report changes and to ask for a review when something doesn't seem right. It's like having a bank account. If you spotted something off on your bank statement, you wouldn't just ignore it forever, you'd call and ask them to double-check. Social Security works in a similar way. When there's a reason to think your benefit calculation might need another look, there are established forms and procedures to handle that. This is why some retirees discover, even years into retirement, that their payment can be recalculated. So what kind of scenario might call for a short, simple SSA form? One common example is when additional earnings information has to be added or corrected. Maybe you worked part-time later in life, or had self-employment or other income that wasn't fully captured when your benefit was first figured. Once those earnings are properly recorded, Social Security may adjust the monthly amount. Another frequent area involves spousal or survivor benefits. Major life events, such as the death of a spouse, divorce, remarriage, or reaching certain age milestones, can change which benefit formula applies to you, and the difference between one calculation and another can be substantial. Imagine someone who has been receiving Social Security for several years and everything seems fine, but then they learn that a particular review or update might change how their benefit should be computed. Once the correct form is filed and the record is re-examined, their payment could go up. For many retirees, the change is modest but helpful. For a smaller number, it may be more significant. The crucial point is that these adjustments are not always made automatically. In many cases, someone has to specifically request a review. That's why awareness is so powerful. One of the biggest challenges seniors face is not outright denial of benefits, but simply never discovering that a recalculation might be possible in the first place. You paid into this system for many years. It's reasonable to make sure the benefit you're receiving is based on complete, accurate information. If you're finding this explanation useful so far, please pause for a moment and hit like. It takes only a second, but it helps us share this kind of information with more people who may need it. Let's go a little deeper into how this works in practice. Many retirees think that if there were any error in their Social Security amount, the government would proactively reach out and fix it. In reality, the original calculation is usually based on the data available when you file. If your situation changes later or old earnings get updated, you often need to initiate a review yourself. For this reason, some financial professionals suggest that retirees periodically log into their Social Security account or request a statement to confirm that their earnings history and other details look correct. It doesn't have to be complicated. Often it's just checking that the income listed for each year matches what you remember earning. If it doesn't, there are specific correction forms designed for that purpose. On the emotional side, money in retirement can be a source of stress. A lot of people are living on fixed incomes where every dollar matters. Food, utilities, and housing are more expensive than they used to be, and healthcare costs can appear without warning. So learning that you might have missed out on money you were already entitled to can feel upsetting. The encouraging news is that Social Security does have built-in ways to address mistakes or missed information, and in some circumstances, if a correction is approved, back payments may be possible. That's part of why simply knowing your options is so important. It can help you feel more in control. A helpful mindset shift is to stop thinking of your current benefit as permanently frozen and start viewing it as an amount based on the information Social Security has today. If better or more complete information is added to your record, your benefit may also change. That's why taking the time to review your situation occasionally can be worthwhile. Many retirees go their entire lives without ever doing this, not because they're at fault, but because no one ever told them that they could ask for a review. That gap in awareness is one big reason this channel exists. Here at Senior Money USA, we focus on highlighting programs, rule changes, and little-known details that can help seniors better understand the benefits they rely on. The more clearly you understand the system, the better positioned you are to make sure you receive what you've earned. Consider a very typical story. Someone starts taking Social Security at 62 or 63. Several years pass, and their monthly deposit only changes when there's a cost of living adjustment. Later, they discover that some of their work history or eligibility details weren't fully taken into account initially. They submit the appropriate request. Social Security re-evaluates the record, and the calculation leads to a higher payment going forward. That extra amount might help with groceries, prescriptions, or simply give them more peace of mind knowing their benefit is now aligned with their actual record. And that peace of mind can be just as valuable as the dollars themselves. Another thing to keep in mind is that not all Social Security paperwork is as complicated as people fear. While some processes are detailed, there are also forms that are intentionally straightforward and quick to complete, because their main purpose is simply to ask Social Security to revisit or update something in your file. That's where the idea of a form that takes only a few minutes to fill out comes from. It's not about secret tricks or loopholes. It's about understanding that the system includes official channels for you to request a review when it's appropriate. Once people become aware that those channels exist, they can decide whether to use them based on their own situation. As we talk about all this, I want to encourage you to stay connected with the information we share. Rules around Social Security, Medicare, and other retirement programs do change over time, and keeping up to date can genuinely help you make better decisions. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing that as an easy way to stay informed about future updates that might affect your monthly income or healthcare options. The more informed you are, the more confident you can feel about your financial life in retirement. One of the most common reflections we hear from retirees who successfully adjust their benefits is that they wish they had known earlier that a review was even possible. It's not usually because anyone was trying to conceal information. It's more that there is so much complexity in the system that most people never hear about these options unless someone points them out. Education changes that. When seniors understand how their benefits are calculated, they're better able to ask targeted questions and explore available options. And sometimes those questions lead to meaningful improvements, even if the increases are modest. When you're on a fixed income, every improvement helps. So as we wrap up this part of the discussion, the main idea I want you to remember is simple. Don't automatically assume that your Social Security benefit can never be reviewed. If there's any reason to think your record might be incomplete or out of date, the Social Security Administration has formal processes to look at that. Your responsibility isn't to memorize every rule, it's just to be informed enough to recognize when it might be worth asking for a closer look. And by taking the time to learn about it today, you've already started that process.